Do you know what is the growth potential of commercial real estate in Indian markets? And more importantly, how it can help you in your wealth creation journey? So, to answer the first question, the two charts on your screen which shows market size of India's real estate sector versus market size of India's commercial real estate sector, which clearly shows from 2024 to 2029 it is expected to grow at a CAGR of 21%. Now, when I say commercial real estate, what do I mean by that? Commercial real estate basically caters to three categories: industrial and logistic usage like warehouses, cold storage. The second category includes office spaces, which includes the co working spaces. And the third one is retail space, which includes malls, healthcare facilities, restaurants, and hotels. When we talk about the contribution, definitely the contribution is maximum of office spaces. The chart on your screen shows office space contributes 40 to 45% share of overall commercial market. Now, when we compare the data, when we analyze the data from major cities of India and a cumulative study of Pan India, it clearly shows right from 2019 till 2024, the rent of all the commercial spaces has significantly gone high year on year. Now, this is related to the basic concept of economics of demand and supply. The next chart on your screen clearly shows that the supply is increasing year on year. However, the demand is also increasing, and eventually we are not able to supply as per the demand. There is a gap, and therefore the rents are continuously increasing. Now this trend is going to continue in future as well, because these companies which are not already existing or operational in India are now eyeing to come to Indian markets and tap the domestic consumption story potential. And one such very good example is of Tesla, which is expected to start its operations in India right in 2025. So many such companies would come in India, would obviously once they come in India, they would need the office spaces, and this demand is going to go further high. Now this has addressed our first question, that is the potential, the growth potential of commercial real estate market in India. But how can it contribute to your wealth creation journey? So the answer lies in REIT. What is REIT? Real Estate Investment Trust. Now, what do I mean by that and how it can help you in your wealth creation journey? So, REIT, many of you must know, REIT is a form of investment. It is an asset class. How do it operate? So, moreover, it can be compared with mutual fund. In a way, REIT, a trust, a company in which the money comes from the investors like you and me. We invest our money which comes to REIT, and REIT utilize that money in buying commercial spaces. These commercial spaces are further rented or leased. So when they are rented or leased, the people who are renting it or leasing it out pay the rent to REIT, and REIT then use some money for their operational expenses, and minimum 90% they have to pay back to the investors in the form of dividend. So this is the basic module of REIT, the way in which it operates. When the investors invest in REIT, in return of their money, they get the units as per the applicable NAV at that particular time, as happens in case of mutual fund. Now let's understand this cycle of funds in more detail. So the next chart on your screen, which shows the investor purchase the shares or the listed REITs, and the money goes to REIT. The REIT then utilize this money in buying the commercial office spaces, rent it. The rent comes to REIT, and then the REIT pays it back to the investors in the form of dividend. So this is the flow cycle of the cash. Now, if you want to understand in more detail that how REITs are compliant, because SEBI is there in picture, there are a lot many compliances also of REIT. So what is the basic framework for REIT? So minimum 500 crore is the size of the REIT, the trust, which has to be there before it gets listed. Minimum size of the IPO has to be 250 crore. Now, as when a company comes for listing, there is a promoter who is the main owner of the company. Similarly, in case of REIT, there are sponsors. The sponsor can be minimum 1 and maximum 3. Now, after listing for first 3 years, the sponsors should hold at least 25% stake in the REIT. As in case of the listed companies, the promoters are expected to hold a minimum percentage of shares of the company. This shows the operation of the REIT is transparent and there are no manipulations. Now, besides the investors like us, the minimum lot size when the IPO will come would be 2 lakh. We would invest, our money would go to REIT. There are sponsors. The sponsors and the REIT would get the money. They would invest it in buying the commercial spaces. Besides these, there are two more important people, the trustee and the manager. The trustee cannot be the manager or the sponsor. The trustee is the person who makes sure the REIT, the trust operates in a compliant way, the investors' money is safe and the dividend is being paid back to them, and the minimum dividend being paid is 90% of the collections. The manager is the person who utilize this money in buying good commercial real estate properties, which would then fetch good rental income. So in case of mutual fund, the fund manager is the person who utilize the pool of money in buying good equity, which would give good returns. The same work is done by manager over here, but they have to fetch good properties which can give good returns in the form of rents. Now, this is the basic working of the REIT. So, the major sources of income for the REIT would be two, the rental income and the mortgage income. So, some REITs also give funds as loan to real estate owners, either in the form of direct loans or in the form of mortgage backed securities, and therefore they earn through this also. So now we can divide the REITs in 5 categories. One is the equity REIT, which only gets the rental income. The second is mortgage REIT, which gets the income from this mortgage which they give. The third is hybrid, which have rental income as well as mortgage income, right? Now, the other two categories are the listed REITs, which are publicly listed, is available to retail investors for investment like you and me, which are 4 in number in India right now. And the other category is privately listed REITs, which are not available to retail investors like you and me, but is available to institutional investors. So now if you want to invest in REIT, what are the ways in which you can invest? Either you can invest in the direct listed REITs which are there in the equity market, or else you can also invest in mutual funds which are investing in REITs. Now, as all the asset classes, there are some advantages as well as disadvantages of REITs as well. So if we talk about advantages, obviously the biggest advantage is we get exposure of real estate rental income by investing much lower amount as compared to real estate. Second, the complexity of real estate, the hassle of buying a property, selling a property, finding a tenant, that all is not there here. Third, the liquidity is there, because in real estate the liquidity is not there, it is very illiquid. Here we are getting the exposure of real estate, but the liquidity is there. If we talk about the negatives, the dividend income of REIT is taxable as per the tax bracket which is applicable to you. Plus there is volatility in REIT, and because the REIT is a very new concept, 5 to 6 years old concept in India, so the investors are less who invest in REITs, and which leads to more volatility in REITs. Now, coming on best REIT sector stocks in India 2025. So these are the REIT sector stocks, top 10 REIT sector stocks I have covered over here, which includes DLF Limited, market cap 1,91,391, Lodha Developers, Prestige Estate, Godrej Properties, Oberoi Realty, Phoenix Mills, Embassy Office Parks, Brigade Enterprises, Nexus Select, Mindspace Business Park. So these 10 includes the REITs which are already listed, or the real estate stocks which sooner or later would come with REITs. Like for example, GLF, it is not yet listed as REIT but is in the process, and it would be coming in the REIT space along with GIC in collaboration. So now the 4 listed REITs, if we look at them, Nexus is the different one. Nexus invest into commercial spaces like malls. However, rest of the 3 invest in office spaces. So if we talk about Naxys, it was listed in May 2023 and has generated 3-year return CAGR of 44.60%. Coming on to the second one, which is Mindspace Business Parks REIT, which is one of my favorite. It has given a 3-year CAGR of 16.04%. It was listed in August 2020 and it is categorically in office spaces, owns and develops integrated business parks and premium commercial office assets in key Indian markets. The third one is Embassy Office Parks REIT. It came in India and got listed in 2019. It has given a CAGR return of 5.83% over 3 years and is again specialized in premium office parks and commercial real estate. The next and the last one is Brookfield India Real Estate Trust, which was listed in Feb 2021, but it has given least returns, in fact negative returns. The 3-year CAGR is negative 2.91% and it is again specialized in grade A office assets, commercial spaces. So this was all about REIT. If we talk about InvIT, InvIT is also very similar. The only difference is REIT invests in commercial spaces, commercial real estates like office spaces and malls, commercial shopping complexes. However, InvIT invests in infrastructure projects like highway development projects, power transmission projects. So this is the only difference in between REIT and InvIT. How do you like it? Would you be investing in REIT? Do you want any further information on REIT? Please do comment and tell me. And if you like the video, please do like and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.